All right, guys. Vern, Wesley Drain, Sheena, and DeBell got bonuses tonight. They all won $10,000. Congratulations to them. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Dana? I know everyone's got a lot of questions. I just have one for you for a story I'm working on. And I think we have talked about it, but the Polynesian presence, the Islanders, to have two headliners in the main event, the energy that they have brought, whether it's on the table or in the crowd for all 5 events. Can you just speak to the influence they have on this sport?
Yeah, obviously it's big. You know, we got a lot of talent coming out of Hawaii, and we've been talking a long time about, you know, UFC events over there. We're actually actively working right now to bring a Power Slap event over to Hawaii. So, yes, I agree with you, and we get it. We actually, for this event, we ran some commercials in Buffalo during the Buffalo Bills games, and we ran commercials in Hawaii, too, for this event.
Hi, Dana. Over here.
Hey.
I've been asking you, I think, every event about the women, and we finally got to see a women's match. And I'm just curious, how did that come about? Because it seems like it came, you know, kind of short notice, but I don't know how long you've been working on that.
Yeah, we were working on it and then finally pulled it off last minute. You know, obviously Sheena is a beast, so we wanted to find somebody that we felt could compete, and we found her tonight. I mean, that was a damn good fight and a damn good finish.
Are you worried about being able to find more women?
Yes. Yeah. She might have to start fighting guys. She is nasty.
I mean, she said she was down for that. So
yeah,
I think she prefers
we're definitely not down for that. Yeah, we're going to have to find somebody out there. There's somebody out there in the world that can come face her.
You had 3 champions that retained their title and a brand new champion. Can you kind of talk to me about those fights and if anybody stood out for you?
I mean, I thought the Wolverine-Terp fight was awesome. I mean, so good. When you think about how tough Wolverine is, you know, Terp rocked him twice. Terp finally got rocked. But when you really look at Terp and how young he is in the sport, that kid's the real deal. He's not just a lunatic. He actually has a good chin and an incredible slap.
Deontay Wilder was here, and he posted on Instagram that he thinks he might make a career out of this. How serious do you think he is?
Not very. We ain't got that kind of money yet. We're doing all right, but we ain't doing that all right.
Any chances of a celebrity Power Slap edition?
I think it's inevitable. I think it'll eventually happen that we will get celebrities doing it, yeah.
You know, I brought up this question to some of the champions about a potential, if they thought that champions should automatically get to slap first. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Champ gets a slap first? I like the coin toss. I like it to be random. You know, one of the big misconceptions about this thing in the beginning is that the guy that slaps first wins every time. And tonight it was like 3 and 4 or something like that, 3 for 4 that went first won the fight.
And I got to ask about, you know, the breaking news from last night, Jon Jones out. Can you talk to me a little bit about how you found out and kind of the process to make a new fight?
Yeah, Jon called, said that he hurt his shoulder, you know, training and wrestling. And his team thought that, you know, you just need a few days off and you'll be fine and whatever. He felt like something was really wrong. Flew out here, did the MRI, found out what was wrong, and, you know, he was super emotional about it, really upset. And, you know, we did what we do and flipped it and made another fight.
I think the fans are, you know, as excited for that heavyweight fight. How do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, that's one of those if you know, you know. I mean, it's a badass fight with 2 young studs, and that's going to be a fun one.
I think a lot of people want to know if Stipe was offered to fight one of them or if he decided he wanted to wait for Jones.
Stipe is not fighting for an interim title. You know what I mean? I wouldn't. So Jones said, I want to fight Stipe. I said, you're fighting Stipe. You have the greatest heavyweight of all time versus the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. This is a legacy fight for both of those guys. I mean, to even call Stipe and ask Stipe to fight for an interim title is, you know, complete disrespect. This is a fight for 2 legends, legacy, 2 of the greatest to ever do it. Fans want to see it, I want to see it, and they both want to do it. So, yeah.
Last question for me. You think maybe that could be the fight to put on UFC 300? Is that kind of the time frame you think?
I'm not thinking about anything until I know how John's surgery goes. He's got to have surgery, so got to get through the surgery, see how fast he recovers. He was very, very serious. He's like, I literally want to do the surgery this week. So he wants to go get this thing done and start rehabbing and start working his way back.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Dana, real quick, I got one more. I know you leave it to the doctors and the refs up on the table, but it seemed like because of one quick stumble, they called on Nate. Do you think it was premature? Do you think he could have gotten maybe 15, 20 seconds to recover based on whatever the rules and regulations? It just seemed a little premature.
I don't disagree with you. I think that, the count, he was obviously hurt. You could have gave him a few more seconds to let him get himself together and recover and see how he was. It happens in the UFC. It's definitely going to happen here, this thing. But if you look at 8 months, 9 months, however long we've been doing this, right? It's not a long time. The athletes have evolved already. And the first, we did a practice run with this to see how it would go. There were so many fouls, it was insane. It was just foul after foul after foul. And we didn't even know we were looking at fouls back then. We didn't even know. But the athletic commission has worked hard on this thing to get good at. We were just talking about next year, we're going to open up probably 6 or 7 states next year will be sanctioned. And that's when we'll start traveling this thing around and doing gates. And we were talking tonight that Nevada State Athletic Commission has gotten so good at this, we're actually going to have to travel with them in the beginning to help educate the other commissions on how to not just judge, but ref and catch and all that good shit.
Dane over here. I just wanted to ask you about the Bell. He's a guy, he's 21 years old. He's on top of the heavyweight division, and he balances a school life. What are your takes on all of that?
Yeah, no, this guy is the real deal. He's tough, man. He's got a good chin, and obviously he's got incredible knockout power. And even when he was coaching, because he was too young to be on the show, he was everybody was saying that he's the future of this thing and he could be a big star and he could be dominant. And I think tonight definitely showed that.
And after Wolverine and Turpin's match, it was a pretty entertaining match. Is that one you consider running back, or how do you see it?
No doubt about it. Like I said, Turp's young in this game. He just started. Wolverine's been around forever. And not only did he prove tonight that he's the real deal. He's not just a lunatic. He's actually real. He's good. But you could tell he got in Wolverine's head because of the way Wolverine was acting tonight. That's not his personality, but Turp had him fired up tonight.
And I have an interesting one from outside of tonight. I know you kind of touched up on Michael Venom Page last week. There's another free agent out there, Dylan Dennis. He's been very vocal about wanting to fight for you guys. He even went on Piers Morgan and said that his plan is to just go fight for you. He's mentioned you on social media posts. And you had guys like Sean O'Malley saying it'd be an interesting signing. Is that someone you'd like to work with, Dylan Dennis?
I don't know. I actually haven't even thought about that.
Dana.
Yeah.
Frank and Erica assembled probably the best talent of any of the cards yet here tonight. Let's talk about the growth of when you started the athletes to where it's come today and the excitement that it was this evening.
Yeah, no, I agree. Tonight's card was awesome. They've done a great job at matchmaking, finding talent. We just wrapped season 2 of the show, and we're happy. We think we got some guys that are legit that are going to be damn good, and you're starting to find people now from all over the world that are into this. And our next big event is going to be Super Bowl weekend. We got the Super Bowl here. We're going to do like a Friday slap, Saturday UFC, Sunday Super Bowl weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. These guys are going to start building that card here next couple weeks.
That's huge. We know Series 2 for the reality series, it was just filmed. Can you give us any insight as to how that's going? And will this?
It's done. We wrapped. Yesterday. Yesterday was the last day of filming.
Will this lead into that event? Will we see the coaches, Chris Thomas and Emmanuel Muniz, headline?
Possibility. Yeah, possibility.
How's the betting for power slapping going?
been great. I mean, if you see the posts that we're doing, literally everybody carries it. You got from DraftKings to Roulette to every casino in Vegas carrying it.
The fighter's been talking a lot about, double champions going up and down in weight. Is that something that you'd be open to seeing like a two-weight class champion in Power Slap?
I'm not a big fan of two-weight champions in anything. It was like somebody just asked me the question the other day, before the Islam Volk fight. If Volk won, would I be cool with him, being a dual belt champion? He's a guy that, yes, I would absolutely consider it because likes to stay active. He's a guy that will take, you saw what he did last weekend, take a fight, on a couple weeks' notice, and he's a savage. So it all depends on who, what they've done, where they're at in their career, things like that.
Yeah. Outside of the heavyweight matches, we had Ryan Phillips coming back from a severe injury that could have been life-threatening, going up against Darius the Destroyer. Can you comment on that, match in particular and what you thought about Ryan's return?
Yeah, I like that kid a lot. He's a bit of a maniac, when he's up there, but he's very into the sport. He's very into helping the sport. He's into helping other athletes that are participating in the sport. So it was good to see him go out and perform against, a legend like Darius.
One last one. The UFC has a VR fan experience debuting in Horizon Meta World coming up here really shortly. Will we see something like Power Slap going to that, a fan experience, potential VR game?
Guys, the video game on this thing, it broke every record. The slap video game has broken every record, and you're talking like if you think about the games that are out there, FIFA and that are on mobile phones, and Call of Duty and all these other games. Where's Frank? I mean, rattle off some of the stats on this game.
Awesome. Thank you.
So, yeah, I could see us doing a lot of things as far as video games go. Thing has been a monster success, so, yeah.
Dana, to your left right here.
Yep.
You've obviously talked about the MSG Sphere and how you want to host Noche UFC in the next year or two. I'm not big on hypotheticals, but suppose you got all the production stuff ready to go and everything was ready to go at the MSG Sphere. For you, would you rather host a Power Slap event there first or a UFC event?
UFC event. I'm all focused and dialed in on the UFC event there. I am working on something with them with the Sphere, though. Yeah, with Slap, I mean.
Do you care to elaborate on what you're cooking up right now?
No, not until it's even close to being done, but yeah.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, brother. You, yep.
Sheena, she just won. She just became the first woman to win Power Slap. How important, and she looks savage. And how important do you think she's going to be to the Power Slap, to being the face of the sport?
Yeah, well, like we were just saying earlier, I think she's going to be huge for the sport. It's just we gotta try and find her some opponents. That's the problem. It's like when women's MMA started, there weren't a lot of girls out there, and then when you had a show like Invicta that actually worked on building female talent, it was a huge help. And I don't know how you build female talent here. It's all part of the growing pains that we'll have, and as we start to take this thing, this thing's growing so fast. Like what he's telling you about the video game, that we broke all the records, and it's the biggest video game they've ever done, and they do every mobile video game. It just tells you that this thing's going to grow and it's going to get bigger, and the numbers that we pull on social media. I mean, you knew that the numbers we pull on social media are so crazy. Everybody thought I was lying the first time that I talked about it publicly, and then. When you look at the numbers that we pull on the events in different territories, it's massive. I mean, you're talking in the hundreds of millions to the tens of millions, depending on where we are. So if you look at, all the things that are going on, it tells you this thing's going to be big over the next 5 years.
UFC did start with female divisions with the 115-pound division, and Power Slap did start with 145. What's the difference, and are you planning to have more female divisions in the near future here?
I don't understand the question. What's the question? Well, I need to find another female in that weight class first.
No, sorry, but the difference when UFC did open the female divisions, UFC did start with 115 pounds, and Power Slap did start with 145 pounds division. What's the difference? Why did UFC start with 115 pounds and Power Slap with 145 pounds?
I think the difference is about 30 pounds. Other than that, I don't know what the difference is. We found Sheena, and she has to cut weight to make that weight, and it's brand new. We've only done 5 events. This thing we're 8 or 9 months old, so all these things are going to take time. It's just. We found her. She showed up. A couple other girls showed up the first time we started doing the trials to test this thing. And we knew immediately from the first slap with the girl that did the somersault, we were like, holy shit, this girl is a beast. And like she was saying earlier, look how hard it was for us to find another opponent. We pulled one out last minute, and she was a good opponent. But this is all going to take time. It's all very brand new.
Around 10 years ago, you said that UFC would never have a female division. Now UFC has 4 weight divisions, and now Power Slap have 1. If you could go back 10 years ago and talk to yourself about that, what would you say to yourself?
I'd say the same thing, because you got to imagine what a lot of people that thing can be taken out of context because of time. That the period in which I said it. At that time, I was trying to sell people on men fighting in a cage. People hated it and didn't like it. Sponsors hated it and didn't like it. The thought of women doing it, it was not even remotely a possibility at that time as far as I was concerned. And then I met Ronda.
Fair enough. Johnny Walker just said in a Brazilian interview that he was offered to fight Ankalaev in November in New York, UFC 295. How close are you guys to close the deal?
Yeah, that's not happening. He'll fight in another event, but it's definitely not going to be New York.
Okay, Paulo Costa was asking to fight this year. Do you think it's possible when you see his elbow?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, in the lead up to that fight in Abu Dhabi, his injury is very serious, man. It's bad. I mean, if you even saw the pictures online, I don't know. It's all going to be determined by how quickly he heals and what doctors say about it.
Thank you. Last one for me. Do you have any update about Charles? Does he still have the status of the next for the title?
So that's all going to be determined by his cut. It was a pretty nasty cut. It was pretty deep. The thing that's really good about it is he went to a plastic surgeon, so they sewed it up from the inside out, and hopefully that's going to help it heal faster and heal properly.
I've just got one to add to the Sheena. She mentioned that she would actually like to slap Ronda in a match.
Oh, Jesus.
Considering the two of them are the first of their kind, would that be anything you think that Ronda would even entertain?
No, I don't think Ronda would. I actually talked to Ronda today, and Ronda's in family mode right now. She's having kids, and they're building the farm, and they're doing all this stuff that she used to dream of. So Ronda's in a really good place in her life, and I could not be happier for her.
Hey, Dana.
Yeah.
When you first started this thing, you ate a lot of crap online, but now it's been 5 events, 5 champions, a video game, a TV series, and now the expansion into the Women's League.
Tons of sponsors.
Tons of sponsors. What more do you need to finally say, I told you so?
I don't even need to say it. It's awesome.
You mentioned before that you guys are getting a record-breaking amount of applicants trying to get into the sport. Do you have any idea what the percentage of women of applicants are coming in at?
Erica?
So there's hope that there is room to grow there.
Yeah, listen, two things. First of all, it's extremely popular, like I said before. What we were just talking about on how many sponsors are on board here, which we'll be announcing another one here pretty soon, a big one. And the video game, the views, this thing's here to stay. It's real, and there's real money in this thing now. So as we continue to get sanctioning now, we'll go into other states, then we'll go to other countries. I had a meeting this morning about going to another country. This is moving really fast. And when this type of stuff happens, people will start to gravitate to it because there's room. Some of these guys are starting to quit their jobs now and focus full-time on training, and it's getting real fast.
KO Chris was in the building today. I know a lot of people have been waiting to see his return. Any update to when we're going to see him slap again?
Frank, Erica? Huh? Soon.
Thank you, Dana. That's it for me.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, Dana.
So,
wait, let him first.
Sorry about that. Based on those performance bonuses tonight, Power Slap always has great knockouts, right? How hard was it to pick just those 4 performance bonuses tonight?
Yeah, well, Frank did it, so I don't know how hard it was for him.
Last one for me, Dana. How soon or how far away are we from seeing Dagestani slappers?
No, true. You probably listen. Russians. I mean, this stuff started in Russia and Poland. You know, big in South Africa. The woman tonight was from South Africa, and we're going to do season 3 in Abu Dhabi, and we'll be bringing in people from all over the world, and you know, it's all going to heat up quick, man. We got a great season 2 coming with a lot of talent that we're excited about. And then we do season 3 over there, and you know, when you start looking at where we are right now in 9 months, we're doing a big story coming up here at the end of the year about a lot of stuff that's going on. And when that story drops and you start to hear all the stuff that's happening, and then you look at it and it'll be, by the time the story drops, it'll probably have been 11 months or 12 months. And you think about the next 2 years, how big this thing's going to be. It's pretty mind-boggling. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Dana, Wolverine, after his fight, said that he wants to get pushed more. He feels like AJ was pushed in their fight. He feels like Turpin was pushed in his fight. He wants to be the guy pushed in the fight. Do you think, what do you think of that? And I guess, do you want him to have a little bit more of a personality for you to push him?
Well, you know how I feel about that stuff, and even in the fight business. You know, if you walk into this sport and you can fight, and you've got a Conor McGregor personality or a Ronda Rousey personality, it's incredible. It's awesome. Or you come in and you're very quiet and subtle, but you're a killer. That's all that matters to me, man, is your performance. I don't ask anybody to not be themselves. Be you. Whoever you are, be you, and just be good.
Darius lost again, and I just want to know, obviously you've been watching the sport for a while. Is he having a hard time adapting to the power slap rules? And also, do you think he has to go back to another slap league to
the Bellator of slapping? I don't know. Yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't know. You think about how long the guy's been in the sport, finally gets to the big stage in the big time, and he's having a rough time performing. I don't know the answer to that question.
Bud Light is back with the UFC. How easy was that? And then also, were your DMs and comments filled with people wanting to boycott?
Yeah, listen, believe me, if you think that I got into this thinking that wouldn't happen, you're out of your mind. People are very opinionated about this, and it's almost like in the COVID thing, right? Through COVID, what did I say during COVID? Somebody's got to be first. And there were reasons why I felt we could be first going through COVID. Knew that we would do it right, yada, yada, yada. You know the story. But when it comes to Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light, this was everybody talks about, oh, you did it for money. Hey, dummies, all sponsorship deals are about money, okay? So when you talk about being a sellout, I had multiple deals in front of me. So it's not like, oh, Bud Light showed up and they were the only option I had to get money. You know how fucking stupid that is to think that, you know, this was all about, and I said this yesterday and I'll say it again, everybody on every side of this deal that were involved, other beer companies and everything else, absolutely positively know that this was not about money for me. We were going to end up with money with no matter who we ended up with. For Anheuser-Busch, it was about values, core values for me. I'm at a point in my life and I'm at a point in my career where nothing is just about money anymore. I am very aligned, and I saw some other fucking asshole today saying, oh, it sounds like they wrote him a script on what to say. Nobody writes me a script. Nobody tells me what to say, ever. I do things because when I come out and I say something publicly, if you look at every quote, right, that I put out, you can ask Lene, every quote is me. Every quote is me. Everything that's posted on social media is me. And everything that comes out of this mouth is me. Nobody tells me what to say and nobody tells me what to do, ever. And the things that I said about Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light yesterday are absolutely true. I am a big military law enforcement guy. They have this Folds of Honor where they've spent $44 million over the last however many years. Fallen first responders and military people, their families get taken care of with this money. Scholarships for their kids, etc. That is right up my alley. Almost $1 billion a year go to U.S. farmers for their crops, for their products. That is right up my alley. That's exactly who I am. 65,000 Americans are employed by Anheuser-Busch, and thousands of them are vets. Right up my alley. And I could keep going on and on forever and tell you why I am more aligned with Anheuser-Busch than any of the other beer companies that were offering to pay us money.
And then finally for me, UFC 5 is coming out. One of the biggest critiques and negatives about it is the roster of the game that's missing tons of ranked fighters. I know you really don't have any say in that, but like, could you push to get more fighters in the game?
Yeah, who's not in the game that we should be upset about?
Like Sean Brady or Adrian Yanez or Nate Landwehr, all these fun fighters, top 15 fighters. It's basically a copy and paste from UFC 4. There's missing fighters.
Well, I would assume there's only so many people you can put in the game. So I'll tell you what, do this for me, right? Give me the list of guys that you think should be in the game, and give me the list of guys that you think should be taken out to put them in the game.
Well, I mean, there's like Paige Van Zant's in the game.
So Paige should go?
Juicer Formiga is in the game.
Who?
Juicer Formiga is in the game.
Okay.
Bruce Buffer's in the game.
Can't take Buff out.
Cold-blooded. All right, who else? Me? Get me out of that motherfucker. Who else? you can say it. Me and Buffer are out. Who else?
You and Buffer out.
Who?
You and Buffer can.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee can get out of the game. I mean,
Bruce. Fuck you.
So yeah, but like Bryce Mitchell is in the game.
Done. I'll make it happen. All right. Me and Buffer are out. Paige is out, and okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
We talked a little bit about just going back to the Jones and the Stipe. It certainly sounds like Jones is ready to go as soon as he gets healed up. Have we heard from Stipe? Is he on board to stick around and wait as long as it takes to get that match?
Yeah, obviously, Stipe's been in training camp. He's spent time, energy, and money on this thing. And when this happens, it's like obviously he's very, very upset about it. And these fighters go through a ton of emotions. I mean, you saw the backstage with Daniel Cormier when the fight fell out. And that was like days before the fight. But, yeah, he's upset, but, he's the greatest heavyweight of all time. This fight makes sense for him. This is a legacy fight. This is a fight that, for both these guys, for Jon Jones to beat Stipe at heavyweight, it's massive in his career. For Stipe to beat Jon Jones, and regain the heavyweight title, why would you not want to do that? Why would you want to do anything else? Stipe Miocic is going to fight in an interim title fight? No, I mean, yeah, he's upset. He's upset, and he deserves to be upset. But it's one of those things, it's nobody's fault. John Jones wants to fight. John Jones doesn't want to have surgery. We don't want the John Jones fight to go away with Stipe, but it is what it is, and we all have to deal with it.
Last for me, on a more somber note, you've always been attached to Maine and its people.
Yeah.
It's a horrible situation that was taking place, and I think maybe it's still ongoing. I don't know if you had any thoughts on it and maybe a message for the people up there.
Yeah, so that place is probably an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes from my house. So, yeah, I would like to, obviously say to all the families that were affected by this thing up in Maine, my condolences, and it's horrible, especially to happen in one of these, small towns and in a place like Maine. It's disgusting. It's part of the horrible shit that goes on in this world that we live in today. And, I don't even, it sucks. It's really disgusting is the only word I have for it. Innocent people getting shot for what? They get them yet?
I think it's still ongoing. I think they're still looking for him.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Thanks, Dana.
Yeah, thank you. You guys done with me?
Go
ahead, brother.
I'm going to touch back on the Jones-Stipe situation. Obviously, you scheduled the interim bout between Aspinall and Pavlovich. If all goes well and you walk away with an interim champion that night, does that winner just kind of have to set aside for Jones and Stipe to fight when that fight's ready? Or
100%. So here's the deal. Jones and Stipe were supposed to fight. Jones gets hurt, right? 8-9 months he's going to be out. You don't strip him or take him out of the rankings after a year, right? So if you're, Sergey Aspinall, you're getting the opportunity to fight for the interim title anyway, now. So, yeah, they're going to have to wait until this fight happens. This fight was set up. This fight needs to happen. Two of the biggest legends in the sport want the fight. The fans want the fight. So, yeah.
And what would happen, say, after that fight, they both retire? What do you do with the interim champion then?
Yeah, listen, to be the man, you got to beat the man. So whoever wins that fight, it would be nice to see him stick around and defend it. So that we can't determine until it happens. But
fair enough. And I saw you guys mention the bonuses earlier. Michael Bisping had a creative idea on the broadcast saying that maybe there should be a bonus given to the guys who make their opponents hit their head on the table. Is that something you agree with?
Jesus Christ. No, that's sick. That's demented. That will not happen. That's why Mike is an analyst and not making any big decisions around here.
Thank you.
Have a good night, you guys. Thank you.